right? So in previous classes, so what we discussed in last three classes, from last three classes we discussed about arrays concept, right? So we discussed about, so what is the definition of array? So array is a index based collection of fixed number of homogeneous data elements. Then we comes to know why arrays are introduced. So because of a variable approach there is some drawback. So to overcome the drawback, so arrays are introduced. Then, so what are the limitations of arrays? Arrays are fixed in size. So once you define the array, it is not possible to increase or decrease the size of the array at runtime. So arrays are homogeneous. That means you can store similar kind of data only. So similar kind of data means, so if you define an array as an integer, you can store only integers. So if you define an array as a float, you can store only float. If you define a array as a number type, class type array, you can store only that class type or its subclass types. So if you create an object type array, you can store object or its subclasses, right? So that's one. So you can store only similar kind of data, right? So after that, so what is the advantage of arrays? So performance wise, arrays are very high, right? It will work based on the index, so that's why arrays are performance wise very high, right? So after that we learn, so how to declare a single dimensional array, right? So when we are defining the single dimensional array, the dimension position is not important. You can place the dimension either after the variable, after the data type, so after the data type or after the variable or before the variable. So you can define, so wherever you like. So dimension you can place in these three places, right? So after that we learn, so at the time of array declaration you are not supposed to give the size. That means at the time of declaration you are not supposed to give the size. At the time of construction only we have to give the size, right? So we discussed that one. So if you are giving like this, you will get compile time error. At the time of declaration you are not supposed to give the array size, right? So after that we learned how to declare two dimensional arrays. So like this, so dimension you can write here, or you can write the dimension after the variable, or you can write the dimension before the variable, right? So we learn these, and you can give the dimension like this also, no problem, right? Or you can give the dimension like this also, no problem, right? But you are not supposed to give the dimension like this. So from the second variable onwards, you are not supposed to specify the dimension before the second variable, right? But you can specify after the second variable. Compile time error, you will get compile time error in this case, right? So we discussed this. In the same way you can declare three dimensional arrays also, no problem, right? So we discussed all these things. Then, so so for every data type, so at the back end, so there will be a corresponding class. So whenever you are trying to print the array reference, array reference means, suppose you construct a array like this, integer a some equal to new integer with some 10 values. So if you are trying to print this a reference, if you are trying to print this a reference, so I already told you, so you will get some, so whenever you are trying to print the array reference, so the output will be, so based on the dimension you will get the dimension, then the class integer type is, you will get capital I at the rate symbol memory address in hexadecimal format, right? You will get the some number, right? So we already discussed, for integer capital I will be there, right? If it is a two dimensional array, capital two dimensional symbols will become two square braces, right? So at the back end some conversation will be there to print. So after that we learn so how to construct the array. So after this, so we learn how to construct the array. Construction means so right side part. So you declare an array like this. So right side what we have to assign. So arrays are not primitive types, arrays are object types. You must construct the array by using new keyword. You must construct the array by using new keyword, right? So new keyword, give the dimension, sorry, right? So whatever the data type is there, you can give the same data type here and give the dimension. So while specifying the dimension, you must specify the size. If you are not specifying the size, you will get compile time error. So in this case you will get a compile time error. So you must specify the size here. If you are not specifying the size, you will get the compile time error, right? Specify with some size, right? So we learned this one. So whenever you are constructing the array, so you can construct the array with zero size also, no problem. So you can construct the array with a negative number also, no problem. But whenever you are trying to execute this, you will get runtime error, right? So we discussed this one also. Then so whenever you are constructing the array, what is the maximum size here you can give. So here you can give the integer maximum range. So that is 2147483647, that is the number. So up to the positive limit you can pass the numbers, no problem. So you can pass the number in decimal format, hexadecimal format, octal format, no problem. So whenever you are constructing this array, you can construct by passing character element also, no problem. So you can pass a character also, no problem, right? So we learned all these ways, right? So whenever you are constructing the array, you are not supposed to pass a float number, float or double. So you must, the size must be in integer format or character format, no problem. So integer means maybe octal, decimal, hexadecimal, decimal number, right? You can pass characters also, no problem. So we discussed all these points. Then so we learned so what is the concept of array of arrays concept. So in multi-dimensional arrays, so if you construct a multi-dimensional array, so it will work based on the array of array concept, right? I already explained this one. So if this is like this, so what will happen. So it contains two levels. In first level, so two memory locations will be allocated. In the second level, memory locations is not yet allocated, right? By explaining some diagram, I explained the concept. So if you want to assign the next level, you maybe for the first level you can assign next level with all are contains same size, or you can change the size, no problem, right? So I hope I already explained all these things, right? So here you can pass the number or you cannot pass the number, no problem. But whenever you are constructing, you must pass the first digit, first number, first dimension value, you must pass the value, that means size. For first dimension you must pass the size. If you pass the size, what will happen, I already explained. If you are unable to recollect, then so this is two dimensional array, right? Two dimensional array, this is one dimension, this is second dimension. Two dimensional array means two levels will be there. So level 1 and level 2, right? So in level 1, so what is the number. So two size, that means it will allocate two memory locations. So two memory locations in the first level, right? So in the second level you didn't allocate it. Suppose if you are passing 2 here, if you are passing 2 here, so that means in the second level it contains two parts, right? So two parts contains this part also, sorry. So this is linked to this one, this is linked to this one. So this part contains two sections, size is 2. This part contains two sections, size is 2. Suppose if you are not mentioning like this, if you are not mentioning like this, so at runtime if you are trying to mention array of 0 location equal to new integer of some 2 size, or you can mention 3 size, array of 1 location equal to new integer of some 4 size. So in this case what will happen, so first level contains 2 size, so that means first level is 2 size. In the second level, first location is pointing in the second level, this is the first one, this is the second one, right? So if you see the program, the 0th location is pointing to 3 locations. So that means here it contains 3 locations. So one more location will be added. So next location, it is having 4 number. So 4 locations will be added. So the boxes are not in same size, no problem. So 0th location is pointing to 3 size array. One location is pointing to 4 size array. So I discussed all these things at the time of 2-dimensional array of arrays concept, right? So after this, so we covered, right? So whenever you are printing the object reference, what it will print, we already covered that point. And so how to construct a array in a single line. So how to construct a array in single line? So same values, array name, right? Assign directly, open close, assign with some values. So we discussed this one also. So how to construct a array in a single line? So whenever you are constructing a array in a single line, you are not supposed to split it into multiple lines. It must be in a single line only. If it is in single line, then only it will work. Otherwise it won't work, it will throw compile time error. You are not supposed to split it into multiple lines. So we covered this point also. So here you can construct not only integer array, you can construct character array, string type array, object type array, or any class array. So that is up to you. So we discussed that point, and after that we discussed about length property. So how to get the size of the array? So by using length method. So suppose if you want to get the size of the array, this array. So this is already compile time. So 20. So if you want to get the size, so you can apply the method on top of variable a dot length property. So if you are, this is a length property, not a method. Length method is different. So length method is different, length property is different. So length property will you can apply the length property only on top of arrays. Length method you can apply on the classes, maybe on string class, string buffer class, or file class. So based on the class implementation, right? So we discussed the length method also. Then so we discussed about so anonymous arrays. So how to pass anonymous array means a array which does not having a name. So that means if you take this example, this line number 25. So right side is declaration part, left side is declaration part, and right side is construction part. So what is the purpose of left side part? So by using this variable, you can pass somewhere. So if you don't want to pass a variable, if you want to pass the value directly, in that case, you can construct anonymous arrays. So how to construct an anonymous array? Simple. The syntax is, so first data type, then size. That means dimension. You must mention the dimension. Then after the dimension, you must follow the pass the values. Like this. So you can before that you must mention a new keyword. So new integer, so single dimension or multi-dimension you must mention, then you can pass the values directly. So I already explained this one with example also, right? So we covered this topic. So anonymous arrays. Then so we discussed is it possible to assign for a integer number, can you assign a character value? Is this possible or not? So we tried in that way. So we took some variable and we took character equal to some character, and we are trying to change a equal to ch, right? We try to assign the value like this. So that is possible because of automatic promotions. So that is implicit typecasting, right? So because of implicit typecasting, you are able to assign for a integer number, you are able to assign the character data type, right? So we tried. So for a integer array, is this possible to assign a character value or not? We tried. So this is integer array and this is a character array, right? So some characters. So yesterday we discussed this one, right? So is this possible to assign a character array with integer array with a character array? So this is not possible. So this is not applicable for arrays types. So this is applicable for primitive types. Okay, primitive data types it is applicable, but primitive arrays it is not applicable, right? If the data type is changed, it is not possible. So if the data type is same, yes, you can assign. So if the data type is same, you can assign, right? So suppose this is a two-dimensional array and this is a single dimensional array. So in that case, you will get compile time error. Okay, right? So if this is a two-dimensional array, this is a single dimensional array. If you are trying to assign, so you will get error. And again, so we discussed about this one also. Suppose one array contains 5 values, second array contains 3 values or 1 value. So can we assign A to C? Yes, this is possible. We executed in last class. Okay, so if you have doubts, by today evening I will upload the YouTube videos, so you can go through it. So while practicing, go through it and practice. Okay, if you have doubts, you can execute by seeing the video. Right, we discussed about this one also yesterday, and we discussed by creating number class object. Number, some number array equal to new number of some size. So we discussed about this one also, right? So this is the number class. So for the number class there are different subclasses like byte class, short class, int class, long class, float class, and double class. So in this array, in number type array, you can store integer numbers, character numbers, float numbers, all the values, right? So that means uh, you can store the subclass references in the superclass array. In the same way, if you create an object for object class, so object is the superclass for all the classes in Java. So if you create an object for if you create an array for object class, so in this array, you can store all the class references. Why? Because object class is the super class for all the classes in Java. So by creating any class reference, you can store in this, right? So we discussed this one also, right? Any other topics did we cover? Yeah, we covered how to pass command line arguments in arrays. So I hope that much, right? In last 3 classes, we discussed all these things. So if you have any doubts, please go through the videos. So I will share the link, right? So are you able to hear me? Yeah. So please try to recollect your subject. Huh? So please practice it, then only you will remember. Otherwise, it's a waste of time only. By attending the class, so you will get the knowledge and you will forget. That's it. Somebody posted some question. I shared a jam file. What is this, man? Okay. We'll see this later. Access denied. Request yes. Okay, right. So in today's class we will try to discuss what are the possible ways to write a main method. Okay, so in how many ways we can write the main method, so we'll see, right? So if you are using the Eclipse, so I hope you know already how to change the font. So it's simple. So that is, go to Windows, preferences, and here general is there. General, click on general, expand it, appearances, then colors and font, select colors and font here. So you just go to text font, edit it. So you can increase or decrease the size. You can change the font color, whatever it, bold. Okay, apply. It is getting changed. Okay, edit it, regular. Okay, apply, apply and close. Got change, right? You can change in that way. Yeah, now we will try to see in how many ways we will write the main method. So I hope you know. So what is the main method? So if somebody is asked you to explain the main method, what you will explain? So what do you know about main method in Java? So maybe you can tell. So execution starts from main method. So one point is main method. Right. So then main method, okay. Then what is this? Anyone knows what is this? In last two classes, three classes, we discussed this one only. Arrays concept, right? So instead of writing here, you can write here. You can easily identify. So string type, array. So that is left side part. So I hope you are getting. So integer, some x. If this is and this both are same. Both are same means this is a data type, this is also data type. This is variable name, this is variable name. This is single dimensional array, this is also single dimensional array. So why a main method is having a string type arguments? So why main method is having string type arguments, string type array arguments? So to pass the command line arguments at runtime, if you want to pass some values to the JVM, so whatever the values you pass it to the JVM, so those will be stored inside this array, single dimensional array. Okay. So in the JVM, there is a code to pass whenever it is calling the main method. So there is a code to pass whatever the values you pass it to the JVM. JVM will pass those values to this array. Okay. So at runtime, so what you will do? Programmer. Suppose he is a programmer. So what the programmer will do when he is executing the code? So he will pass some command line arguments. So command line arguments means I already shown you how to pass from the Eclipse tool, and I already shown you from the command prompt how to pass it. Suppose if this guy is passing some values by separator with a space 10, 20, 30, 40. So he is passing the values to whom? He is passing the values to JVM. He is passing the values to JVM. Right? What the JVM will do? JVM will call main method. So what the JVM will do? JVM will call main method. So whenever it is calling the main method, so whatever the values passed by the user, so these values is passed by the user. So these values will be converted into string type. Okay, these values will be converted into string type by the JVM string type. So by the JVM, and the JVM will pass these values to will pass these values to main method for the main method. So where it will store? It will store inside this array. It will pass the values to main method here. So where all these values will be stored? These values will be stored in this array, right? So from here it will go here and store here, right? So here it contains array with what size? Array will be constructed based on how many values you are passing. You are passing 1, 2, 3, 4 values, so it will construct an array with 4 values, right? So it is constructing array with 4 values and it will pass to main method. So the array name is args, in this case args. So you can change the variable name, that is up to you, right? So why the main method is having string type array? So why? Because to pass the user defined values at runtime. So that means, so command line arguments, to pass the command line arguments, the main method is having string type array. Okay. So why the main method is having return type as a void? Why main method return type as a void? Void, why we are writing void type? So why? Because who is calling the main method? Who is calling the main method? JVM is calling the main method. So what the, suppose if you are returning some value here, return some value, I am passing some xyz. So if I am passing some value here, so what will happen if I am passing some value here? So who has to read this value? So suppose if you are using return statement, so what is this meaning? Returning means, So you are returning some value. To whom you are returning? The person who called the main method. Who called the main method? JVM is called. Suppose if you are returning some value to the JVM, with that value, what the JVM will do? Suppose you are passing some value to the JVM, so what the JVM will do? It won't do anything, right? That's why JVM is telling if you are passing some value, I don't do anything. Why you are passing? Don't pass any value. So that's why the return type is void. So main method return type is void. Why? Because so it is forcefully telling I don't do any work with your return values. So you don't return anything to me. So that's why the return type is void return type. So I hope you are getting the point. So in the main method, suppose if you are using the return statement, so the return value will be passed to the JVM. With that value, JVM will not do anything. So that's why, so JVM is telling that write a main method with a void return type. So I don't do anything with your return value. I am telling you to use the void. So that's why you don't return any value to me. All right. So that's why main method return type is void. Then why static? Why static? So why static means, so your program is available in which location? Your program is available in which location? So your program is available in some location. So what is the location? So your program is available in, right? So student.java. So properties. So your class is available here in this location. So your class is available in this location. Right. But where is the Java virtual machine? Where the Java virtual machine is available? If you are using Eclipse, so when it is installed the Eclipse, so where it is installed in that in some way some location it will be there. If you want to see, go to this PC. I hope I already shown you by setting the path at the time path. So advanced system settings, environment variables. Open this path, edit it. See here. So E drive they set it here to C drive. Okay, this is a manually setted path. Edit it. So here some Java path is there, not it. Okay, no problem. So you can pick that one also. So you can pick from here. So consider this is you set the path. Okay, at this example, for this example, you just see. So bin folder, inside the bin folder, Java compiler both are there. Java virtual machine and Java compiler both are there, right? So for this example, so your Java virtual machine is available in which location? Your Java virtual machine is available in which location? Sorry, this is not copied. So some E drive, right? Just now we saw I close it. Okay, we will search from here itself. This PC, E drive, JDK, bin. See here Java will be there. Java, Java compiler, Java virtual machine. What is the path? Here, right? So paste here. See, this is available in which location? C drive. This is available in which location? E drive. This location is different. This location is different. So this location means Java virtual machine location is different. JVM location is different. Your source file location is different. Right. So in this case, your Java virtual machine means that is a program. Your source code means that is a program. Here actually dot class file, not source code file, dot class file, bytecode instructions. Right. So JVM has to access your bytecode. So but JVM is available in some location. This is available in some location. So in that case, so in that case we need access. Okay. So for that method, we need to increase the access level. We need to increase the access level. So if this is separate folder, this is separate folder. If you want to access the data from one folder to another folder, in that case, the method must be public. So that's why here you are defining your method as a public method. So why we are defining a method as a public method? So your source file is in some location, or your dot class file is in some location, and your Java virtual machine is in another location. So to access the your main method, we must provide the access permission. If both are in different folders or different locations, then to give the permission access level, you use the public keyword. So by using the public keyword, we are giving the permission to access the main method to the JVM, right? Then why static? Why static keyword? If a method is a static method, what will happen? I already discussed. So still once again. So who will execute your program? So JVM will execute your program. How to execute the program from command prompt? So you will try something like this. Desktop, some core Java classes. What is files are there? ABC file is there. CLS. Right. So how to run the program? Java ABC. You will give Java ABC. So what is the class name? ABC. So in this class name, so there is a method. What is the method name? Main method. And this method is a static method. If the method is a static method, how to call this method? Directly by passing dot main. Right? Class name is ABC and a method, a static method, a method name is main method. How to call the static method? Class name dot method name, right? So in this way JVM will call it. So actually whenever you are executing the program, you no need to pass the dot main method. So JVM by default it will call the dot main method. So on top of which class, whatever you are passing here. Okay, so JVM has to access the main method without creating an object. That's why you must define the method as a static method. So you are giving the permission. So without creating the object, you need to call the main method. That's the purpose why you are defining the method as a static method. Right. So you have to explain all these points. So why public, why static, why void, so why main only. So actually it will call the main method only. Why the string type array. So all these things you need to explain. Right. So now what are the different ways we can write the main method? So see, so instead of writing a public static, you can exchange this access specifiers. Okay, this access specifier levels you can exchange. Exchange means, so here you can write, there you can. So public static public also you can write. You don't face any error. So you are not getting any compile time error here. See, in this program you are not getting any compile time error. Right. So you can add static public or public static. That is one point. Here args means that is a variable name. You can give your name also. No problem. So you are not getting any error. Right. I changed the code. Observe where you have to see the errors. So in this line, if there are errors, it will display. See, I return some line. So it is displaying error message, red line, and here also there is a mark. Right. If there are errors, it will display the errors. So why? Because Eclipse tool will automatic compilation. Right. So you can give here, you can give your name also, no problem. Right. So then what else? What are the changes you can made? What are the changes you can made? See here, instead of writing single dimension array, I can pass var args. So I already discussed what is a var args in previous class. So I discussed a method, var args method. So how to pass, if a method is having 0 parameters, if a method is having 1 parameter, if a method is having 2 parameters, how to call those methods I already discussed. So by using var args method, right? How to write the var args method? 3 dots with a variable name. Or you can use method name, some data type, variable, 3 dots. Or you can use, you can write return type integer also, no problem. M3 some method, integer, 3 dots here, x variable, 3 dot space x. See here, after data type space is there. Here after data type and x middle space is there. Here also space is there, but you are not supposed to write in the below way. M4 integer dot separate dot x. You are not supposed to write in this way. I hope I already covered all these things. Someone please confirm. So we already discussed this Varax methods, right? So now, So what I will do, in place of single dimensional arrays, you can use varargs method, no problem. Okay, so that means what I will do, I will remove this x single dimensional array. I will apply dot 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 x or args, that is up to you. So by remove these statements, you don't face any error. So if you want to execute it, you can execute it. Sys out. So I am trying to explain how many ways we can write the main method. Save the code. So try to execute it, run as Java application. So we are getting main method as output. So change the dots. So keep here at the end. Save the program. Args dot dot dot. I think it is not so supported. Maybe dots you can add in middle only. 1, 2, 3. Right. So you can add the dots in middle only, not after the variable. Yeah, that is one mistake. Right. Execute the code. Run as Java application. Errors existing in the project. ఏం ఎర్రర్ ఉంది దీంట్లో అంటే స్టాటిక్ అనే వేరియబుల్ రాయాలి. రైట్. సో మెయిన్ మెథడ్ is executing. Run as Java application. So we are getting main. Right, that means you can change the modifiers, exchange the modifiers. In place of single dimension array, you can write varargs. So that means 3 dots with a variable name. So varargs means it is exactly like single dimension array only. Right. So you are not supposed to give the space here. Okay, you are not supposed to separate these dots. So these 3 dots must be in a line, so no separation, and you must write between, after the string or before the args. Right. Then what are the changes we can made in the main method? So for the main method, so there are some keywords, so we can apply those keywords or not, we will check. So one keyword is there, final keyword. So can we write final keyword for the main method? So before the main method means you are not supposed to write in between here. You are not supposed to write. So before here you can try. So anywhere, here or here or here or you can write anywhere. But before this, not after the void. Okay. Right. So I am trying with final. Yes, you can define the method as a final, main method as a final, no problem. What is the final method? I will explain. So final method means, so if you define a method as a final method, while you are overriding, it is not allowed you to override. So actually this is the inheritancy concept. In inheritancy, so polymorphism concept will come at runtime polymorphism. So if the child is not satisfying with the parent class implementation, then he can override the methods. Suppose parent don't allow to override the method, in that case you can define that method as a final method. So I will discuss these things at the time of when I discussing final keyword. Right. So that means here you can define the method as a final method, no problem. Execute it, you are able to get the output. Right. Change the position, no problem, you are able to execute it. So change the position, you can write anywhere. So before void, save it, run as Java application, execute it. Right. So after that, so can we apply any other access modifiers? Yes. So you have a method, sorry, you have some keywords. Those keywords are abstract keyword is there. You are not supposed to use the abstract keyword here. Abstract, ABSTRACT. Abstract keyword is there. Abstract means, so not implemented completely. Right. So suppose Control X, if you are trying to paste here, so you will get error. Okay. So in this case, it will says you must define the class as a abstract class. So abstract keyword is not allowed for the main method. Okay, cut it, try to paste here, you will get the same error. So same thing, suppose if you are trying to paste here, what will happen? So here it is not allowed. If you paste it, you will get compile time error, right? So abstract keyword is not applicable for main method. If you define, what will happen? So it will force you to remove this body, end with semicolon, declare this class as abstract class. So it will force you to do like that. Okay, you are not supposed to end with sorry, you are not supposed to write with abstract key. Then what else you can write? So there is a keyboards called strict fp, strict, right? st, right? So there is a keyword strict fp. So that means strictly for floating point values. So in this method, suppose if you are using any floating point numbers, some notation is there, IEEE notation is there. So it will follow the IEEE standards for the floating point numbers. You will get the same results in all the platforms, right? So some standards are there, IEEE standards for floating point numbers. If you want those standard wise floating point results, you can use the method as a strict fe. Okay, strict fe keyword is applicable for methods, only for methods. So in this case, for the main method also, you can apply the strict fe method, no problem. Then any other keywords? So what are the keywords we can apply? Any other keywords? So static keyword you already know. Synchronized. So there is a one more keyword, synchronized, synchronized keyword. So you can use the synchronized keyword also. So synchronization concept means you will come at multi-threading. So if multiple threads are executing, if you want to give the chance to only one thread to execute this main method at a time, so then you can define this method as a synchronized method, no problem. So by using synchronized keyword also, you are able to execute the program successfully. So by applying all these changes, you are able to execute your program for the main method, right? So I hope you know so how to write a main method in different ways, right? Yes. సో స్టాటిక్ అనే కీవర్డ్ ఎందుకు యూజ్ చేస్తున్నామంటే, రైట్, so I have a class. The class name is student.java. So in my class I have two methods. One is m1 method and second one is m2 method. M1 method is instance method, M2 method is static method. Suppose I have a program, another program, the program name is jvm, the source file name is jvm.java. Okay, so from this file I want to access this methods. So from this file, there is here I have a main method. Consider this file name is jvm.java. I have main method here. So I am not writing the entire main method. So main method is there. So from this main method, if I want to access the M2 method, what are the possible ways? What are the possible ways? This class is different. This class is different. So in that case, how to call this class method? And this is the static method. రైట్, ఆబ్జెక్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేసి కాల్ చేయాలనుకుంటే ఇన్స్టాన్స్ మెథడ్స్ ఉంటే ఆబ్జెక్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేసి కాల్ చేయాలి. ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు కాల్ m1 మెథడ్, if you want to call yeah if you want to call m1 method, you can create object, and by using that reference you can call m1 method. By using that reference you can call m2 method also, no problem. But so I want to call only M2 method. I don't want to call M1 method. I want to call only M2 method. So how to call? If this method is a static method, how to call? So directly by using class name. Yeah, so directly M2 call చేయాలంటే in this class, in jvm.java class, if you are having static M2 method, you can call it directly M2. But this class is different, this class is different. So I hope you are getting the point. Suppose in this class I have a method, static method, static void M3 method, open and close. I am writing the open and close also in the same line. So in jvm.java file, so main method is there. If I want to call M3 method, directly I can call M3 method. So why? Because so main method is also a static method. You can call the static members directly. So you can call it directly. But this M2 method is not in the jvm.java file. This is in another file. So file name is student.java. So if I want to call M2 method, how I will call? By using this class name dot method name. So that means I will call it by using student dot M2. So what is the purpose of static keyword? So without creating the object to the student class, if other person want to call this M2 method, other person can call the M2 method directly by using class name. So how to call it? Class name dot method name. Right. So in the same way, I hope you are getting this point. So are you able to understand this one?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is separate class. In this class, M2 method is there. M2 method is static method, and this is separate class. So in this class, if you want to call this M2 method, you no need to create object. So you need to know only the class name and method name. That's it. So by using the class name and method name, you can call the method directly. Yeah. The same case is applicable. Now, so JVM, consider JVM software is this one, JVM software. Right. So Java virtual machine. So what the Java virtual machine knows? Okay, we'll see that. Right. So here you have your class. This is your class, some student.java class. So in this class, you have the main method. So I'm not writing the entire main method. Public static void main string args. So I will mention static with full letters. Static method. So now JVM is one program. Student.java is one program. Now JVM wants to call the main method. How the JVM will call the main method? Inside the JVM, there must be a code to call the main method. So inside the JVM, what kind of code will be there? Inside the JVM, some method will be there. In that method, the code must be like this. So the code must be student dot main by passing some values. So by passing some values means the programmer is passing at the runtime command line arguments, then it will pass. If the programmer is not passing, it will pass null. If you pass null, that null will be passed to the string type array. Okay, don't worry about that. So now we are trying to call the main method of your class. Who is trying to call the main method? JVM is trying to call the main method. So how it will call? JVM don't know how to create an object to your class. JVM don't know how to create an object to your class. What the JVM knows? JVM knows how to call a main method only. JVM knows only the main method name. That's it. Nothing else. You don't know anything. So in that case, if the JVM want to call the main method of your class, what is required? Class name is required. Main method name is not required. JVM already knows the main method name. So it requires only class name. right? If you pass the class name to JVM, if you pass the class name to the JVM, what the JVM will do for this class name? It will append, for the class name, it will append dot main, and it will call the main method. So how to, for calling the main method, this is enough, right? So student dot main is enough. So inside the JVM, this code is required. From where you are getting this code? JVM, you are not opening the JVM source code and you are not updating it. So what you have to pass? You need to pass only the class name where it contains the main method. So where is the main method is available? Student class. So you need to pass the student class name. So where you are passing that student class name, here you are passing. Whenever you are executing the code, here you are passing student name. So what the JVM will do, it will pick this name and it will append dot main for your class, and it will execute, it will call the method. So to call that method by applying dot operator, the main must be static. That's why we define the method as a static method, right? So main method is static method and enduku rayalante JVM don't know how to create an object to your class. So without creating an object, it has to call the main method. For that, we are giving the another modifier to access it. What is the another modifier? Static. So if you are applying static without creating an object, JVM can access your main method, right? So is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Right, Amma. Right. So this is about main method. So what are the different ways we can call the main method? What are the different ways we can call the main method? Right. Then we will see naming conventions. Yeah. So naming conventions means what are the names are there? Identifier. So identifiers are called names. Okay. So what are the names are there? So what are the names? Suppose this is the program. So this is the program. So in normal way I will write it. Some X. So in this program, what are the variables are there? What are the names are there? So first this is one name, this is second name, this is third name, the fourth name, X is fourth name, fifth name, sixth name, seventh name. All these are names only. Okay. So this is class name, user defined class name. We are writing the class. This is main method, method name. So inside a class you are writing a method, the method name is main method. So for this method, there is a parameter. In this parameter, there is a data type. The data type is class type. That means this is a name. Whenever you are defining the array type, you require a variable. A variable is a name. So whenever you are trying to print a statement on the console, so we are using println method name. To get the println method, to call the println method, the println method is available in print stream class here. Print stream class, you are able to see here. Print stream class. On this, you are having println method. So that means println is a method name. Okay. So to get the print stream class object, so we cannot get it directly. So there is an alternative way. So the alternative way is in a system class. System is, that is a predefined class. So system అనేది class name. In the class, so there is a variable. So variable అంటే అదొక name. So variable name ఏంటి? Out. So in this class you have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So total 7 names are there, right? So while giving the names, what are the rules we need to follow? So those are called coding standards. Okay, Java coding standards, right? So if you are define, so what are the names will be there? Names may be variable names, right? Method names, right? So class names, then interface names, then package names. So like this we have. Okay, so in methods you have setter getter methods, normal methods. In methods you have some what in AWT components we will see some particular methods like uh, get in when you click on the button events for raising the events, so we have some add and remove, add action listener, so remove action listener, so that kind of methods are there. So for they in that case those are also method that naming convention will be changed. So in case of bean classes, so setter getter names will come, so that means method names. So methods are different, so situation based on the situation you will call these are bean methods, that means get setters and getters. So these are listener methods, adding listener, removing listener, like that. So all those are methods only based on the situation, so they are given different names, right? So generally we will see these names. So variable names, method names, class names, interface names, and package names. So while writing the method or variables or interfaces, what are the naming conventions we need to follow, right? Where we need to use the cap letters, where we need to use the small letters, and constants also, right? So while writing all these things, what are the naming conventions we need to follow, we will discuss. So first one, variable names. So while writing the variable names, what is the naming convention? So very simple. So camel case, right? Suppose your variable name, suppose you are writing a variable name roll number, right? Suppose a variable name is like this. So in this roll number, actual roll number is only one word. So if you want to split it, you can split it. Roll is one word, a number is one word, off is one word, student is one word. So actually roll number is a single word only, not multiple words. Roll number is single word, right? Off is second word, student is third word. Okay, so in this variable you have three words. How many words are there? One is roll number, second is off, third is student. Roll number of a student, if you take a also, no problem. So in this name you have three words, so where and where you need to use the upper cases, where and where you need to use the lower case letters. If a variable contains only one word, so that is roll number. So only one word is there, in that case all are small letters. If it is having more than one word, from second word onwards, every word starting with capital letter, every word starting with a capital letter. So here I have two more words, right? So here total three words are there. In these three words, first word must contain small letters only. In the first word all the letters must be small letters. From second word onwards, here second word is this one, third word is this one. From second word onwards, it will starts with a capital letter. So here capital letter is there, third word starting with capital letters. Remaining letters are small letters. So this is the naming convention for variables and methods. For variables and methods, you need to follow the same naming convention. If you don't follow, what will happen? Nothing will happen. So you don't get any compile time error, you don't get any runtime error. So this is a naming convention followed by the Java people. So they are suggesting us to we need to follow it. If you don't follow, what will happen? Nothing will happen. Right. So as of now we executed so many programs, so maybe we didn't follow. Sometimes we may not follow the naming conventions, no problem, right? So in the same way, suppose if you want to write a method names, right? So naming conventions, these are naming conventions. So for the method names, so if you want to see the existing class method names, you can see. So they are following the same naming conventions. I will show you by opening the API documentation. So no problem about it. So method names, suppose get, so method is like this: void get student roll number. So if you consider roll number is one word, so you can use one capital letter. So if you consider these are two words, you can give one as a capital, right? So while giving the method names, so here this is the method name, whatever is highlighted, this is the method name. So you need to follow the same naming convention of variable naming conventions. So that means first word here it is having get student roll number. Three words are there. First word must be small letters. From second word onwards, every word start with capital letter. So here second word means student. So student is starting with capital letter. A roll number is starting with capital letter. Right? So variable naming conventions and method naming conventions both are same. So what is the difference? So if you are writing a method, the syntax will be different. If you are defining the variable, syntax will be different. Right. So suppose if you want to define the constants, if you want to define the constants, so how to define the constant? Integer, some pin code. So pin code is a constant number, so you can give some fixed value. So 5,90,000, right? So how, by seeing the variable name, so how do you recognize it's a constant variable? So by seeing this variable name, you can comes to know this is a normal variable. By seeing this variable name, you will comes to know some difference. What is the difference? All are in capital letters. All are in capital letters means maybe it is a constant. So as per the Java standards, so if you define the variable with all capital letters, so that is a constant variable, right? So variable naming conventions, method naming conventions, both are same. Constant naming conventions, all are must be in capital letters, right? Next, class naming conventions. So while writing the class names, how to write the class name? Class, some you can take some class name, string buffer, string builder. There are different words are there, right? Like this, today's first program, right? So in this, so this is a class name. So while writing the class names, so what are the naming conventions I need to follow? Class name in every word including first word. So class name starting with capital letter including first word also. So in this, so I have three words. So one is today's, second one is first, third one is program. Today's first program. So in this, first word is starting with capital letter, second word is starting with capital letter, third word is starting with capital letter, right? So you need to follow the same naming conventions for interfaces also. For interfaces also, same naming convention. So for interfaces, so you will change the keyword. Here class keyword is there, so you will use the keyword interface keyword. So interface keyword, so give the interface name. So interface name is my own interface, right? So here what are the naming conventions I am following? I have three words. So one is my own interface. So my is starting with capital letter, own is capital letter, starting with capital letter. So interface also starting with capital letter. So my own interface, right? So some other naming conventions are there. Bean naming conventions. So bean name means in your class, suppose you have two variables. Without using the constructor, if you want to set the values or get the values, For setting the variables and getting the variables, generally we will use setter getter methods. So setter getter method means simple. Suppose in this class, suppose I have two variables, roll number and name. Suppose I have two variables. So how to generate setter getter methods? Just simply right click. Somewhere source will be there. Source. So generate setter getter methods will be there. Generate setters and getters. I am clicking on this one. Okay, what happened? Source and generate setters and getters. Where is that? Right, it is asking me to, or you want to only for roll number? I want for name also. So generate. See here. So it was added four methods. So for setting the roll number, so method is added, set roll number method, set roll number. For getting the roll number, get roll number method. The same way for setting the name, set name method. For getting the name, get name method. So this class is called bean class. Okay. So bean class contains variables and setter getter methods. If you want to follow the bean naming conventions, the method for setting the method, set variable name, getting the method, get variable name. So these are bean naming conventions. So you can easily understand, no problem. If you are unable to understand also, no problem. So I will discuss at the time of beans. Right. So some other naming conventions are there. So that is listener conventions in AWT or swing programming concepts. So suppose if some button is there, if you take, this is also some buttons, these are also some buttons, this is maximize button, minimize button. So if you click on this button, what will happen? At the back end some code is executing. So that means for this button there is a listener is added. So for that the naming convention is add listener and remove listener, for adding a listener and removing a listener. So those are listeners. Some other naming conventions are also there. So based on the requirement, so whenever we are discussing, we will discuss. Right. So these are the naming conventions. So we need to follow. Right. So any doubts in this? Right. So naming conventions, I hope everybody knows these naming conventions. Right. సో ఇంటర్ఫేస్ కాన్సెప్ట్ అయితే కాలేదమ్మా, కానీ యాక్చువల్గా ఇంటర్ఫేస్ అంటే ఎలా రాస్తామంటే అది ఊరికే నేమింగ్ కన్వెన్షన్స్ అంతే, అసలు కాన్సెప్ట్ కాదు. ఊరికే ఇంటర్ఫేస్ రాసేటప్పుడు నేమ్ ఎలా రాయాలి అని చెప్తున్నాను. సో ఇంటర్ఫేస్ కాన్సెప్ట్ అనేది అసలు మనం ఇంకా అంత దూరం పోలేదు. ఓకే ఓకే, అదే చెప్తాను. సో ఇంటర్ఫేస్ రాసేటప్పుడు సపోజ్ యూ హ్యావ్ 3 వర్డ్స్ ఉన్నాయి అనుకోమా, అంటే క్లాస్ నేమ్ అంటే ఇంటర్ఫేస్ నేమ్ రాసేటప్పుడు సో మోర్ దాన్ 1 వర్డ్ ఉంది, పోనీ ఒకటే వర్డ్ ఉంది, ఫస్ట్ అని రాసావు. ఇప్పుడు ఎన్ని వర్డ్స్ ఉన్నాయి? ఓన్లీ 1 వర్డే ఉంది. సో ఇంటర్ఫేస్ అంటే కామన్గా ఇలా రాస్తాం. ఇంటర్ఫేస్ అనే కీవర్డ్, ఇంటర్ఫేస్ నేము, ఓపెన్ బ్రేస్, క్లోజ్ బ్రేస్. సో ఇంటర్ఫేస్లో ఏం రాస్తాం అనేది మెల్లిగా నేర్చుకున్నాం. సో ఎన్ని వర్డ్స్ ఉన్నాయి? ఒకటే వర్డ్ ఉంది కాబట్టి స్టార్టింగ్ విత్ క్యాపిటల్. సపోజ్ 2 వర్డ్స్ ఉన్నాయి అనుకో, ఇది రెండో ఇంటర్ఫేస్ రాస్తున్నాను. యూ కెన్ రైట్ ఎనీ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ ఇంటర్ఫేసెస్. INTRFACE ఇంటర్ఫేస్, స్పెల్లింగ్ మిస్టేక్ ఏదో ఉన్నట్టుంది, INTER. సో ఇంటర్ఫేస్ ఫస్ట్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్. సో ఫస్ట్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ అని రాస్తే ఏమైంది ఇప్పుడు? సో దీంట్లో ఎన్ని వర్డ్స్ ఉన్నాయి? ఫస్ట్ అనేది ఒక వర్డు, ఎగ్జాంపుల్ అనేది ఇంకో వర్డు. సో ఏమవుతుంది? ఫస్ట్ వర్డ్లో ఎక్కడ క్యాపిటల్ ఉంది? స్టార్టింగ్ విత్ క్యాపిటల్. సెకండ్ లెటర్లో ఎక్కడ క్యాపిటల్ ఉంది? స్టార్టింగ్ విత్ క్యాపిటల్. సో ఇంకో ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఉంది అనుకో, సో 3 వర్డ్స్ ఉన్నాయి అనుకో, ఇంటర్ఫేస్ ఫస్ట్ డే, ఫస్ట్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, ఇంటర్ఫేస్ నేమ్. ఓకే. సో ఎన్ని వర్డ్స్ ఉన్నాయి దీంట్లో? సో ఫస్ట్ అనేది ఒక వర్డ్, డే అనేది ఒక వర్డ్, ఫస్ట్ అనేది ఒక వర్డ్, ఎగ్జాంపుల్ అనేది ఒక వర్డ్, మొత్తం 4 వర్డ్స్ ఉన్నాయి. సో 4 వర్డ్స్లో ఎక్కడెక్కడ క్యాపిటల్ లెటర్స్ ఉన్నాయి? ఫస్ట్ వర్డ్ స్టార్టింగ్ విత్ క్యాపిటల్, సెకండ్ వర్డ్ స్టార్టింగ్ విత్ క్యాపిటల్, థర్డ్ వర్డ్ స్టార్టింగ్ విత్ క్యాపిటల్, ఫోర్త్ వర్డ్ స్టార్టింగ్ విత్ క్యాపిటల్. అంటే క్యాపిటల్ లెటర్ అమ్మ, అక్షరం. రైట్. సో ఇవి నేమింగ్ కన్వెన్షన్స్. క్లాస్ నేమింగ్ కన్వెన్షన్స్, ఇంటర్ఫేస్ నేమింగ్ కన్వెన్షన్స్ సేమ్. అంటే if you are following the standards, the naming conventions will be like this. If you have doubt, we will show you by opening API documentation, google.com, J2SC API documentation. So open any class, any interface, any exception, any error. So that is your wish. So I am opening some class. Okay, generally we will open java.lang package. So whenever you are taking the naming conventions for packages, everything will be in small letters. Here all these are packages: java package, lang package, annotation. So java package, lang package, instrument. So all these package names must be in small letters. This is also one naming convention, right? సో ఇక్కడ ఇంటర్ఫేసెస్ అన్నమా, ఇంటర్ఫేసెస్. సో జావా డాట్ లాంగ్ ప్యాకేజీని క్లిక్ చేస్తే ఇంటర్ఫేసెస్ వచ్చాయి. ఈ ఇంటర్ఫేసెస్లో పోనీ ఈ ఇంటర్ఫేస్, సెకండ్ ఇంటర్ఫేస్ తీసుకున్నాం అనుకోండి, ఏమనుంది? క్యారెక్టర్, సిహెచ్ఈఆర్, క్యార్ సీక్వెన్స్ అని ఉంది ఇక్కడ. సో క్యార్ సీక్వెన్స్లో ఎన్ని వర్డ్స్ ఉన్నాయి? 2 వర్డ్స్. క్యార్ అనేది ఒక వర్డ్, సీక్వెన్స్ అనేది ఇంకో వర్డ్. సో ఎక్కడెక్కడ క్యాప్ లెటర్స్ ఉన్నాయి? ఎవ్రీ వర్డ్ స్టార్టింగ్ విత్ క్యాప్ లెటర్. మీరు ఏది తీసుకున్నా సరే, కొన్ని లాస్ట్దే ఉంది థ్రెడ్ డాట్, రైట్. సో ఇది క్లాస్ నేమ్, ఓకేనా. సో ఈ క్లాస్లో ఇది ఇన్నర్ క్లాస్, ఓకేనా. ఇన్నర్ క్లాసెస్ కాన్సెప్ట్. సో థ్రెడ్ క్లాస్లో ఇది ఇన్నర్ క్లాస్, రైట్. సో ఈ దీంట్లో తీసుకుంటే ఎన్ని ఉన్నాయి? మొత్తం 3 వర్డ్స్ ఉన్నాయి. సో అన్క్యాచ్, ఎక్సెప్షన్, హ్యాండ్లర్. సో అన్క్యాచ్లో క్యాపిటల్ యూ, ఎక్సెప్షన్లో క్యాపిటల్ ఈ, హ్యాండ్లర్లో క్యాపిటల్ హెచ్. సో క్లాసెస్ తీసుకున్నా అంతేమా. సో క్లాసెస్ ఏదైనా పెద్ద నేమ్ తీసుకుంటే, ఏదైనా పెద్ద నేమ్ ఉందా? సెక్యూరిటీ మేనేజర్ అని ఉంది, లేకపోతే రన్ టైమ్ పర్మిషన్స్ ఉంది. సెక్యూరిటీ మేనేజర్ అంటే 2 వర్డ్స్ ఉన్నాయి, ఎవ్రీ వర్డ్ స్టార్టింగ్ విత్ క్యాపిటల్ లెటర్, రైట్. సో పర్మిషన్ ప్రాసెస్ బిల్డర్ అంట. సో ప్రాసెస్ బిల్డర్ కూడా క్యాపిటల్ బి, క్యాపిటల్ బి. సపోజ్ ఇఫ్ యూ టేక్ ఎనీ మెథడ్స్, సో ఈ ప్రాసెస్ బిల్డర్ అనే క్లాస్లో ఏమన్నా మెథడ్స్ ఉన్నాయనుకోండి, మెథడ్స్ చూసామనుకోండి, ఇవన్నీ మెథడ్స్. మెథడ్ సమ్మరీ అని ఉందిగా, సో మెథడ్స్, ఇవన్నీ మెథడ్స్. మెథడ్ నేమింగ్ కన్వెన్షన్స్లో ఏం చూసాము? సపోజ్ ఈ మెథడ్ తీసుకుంటాం అనుకోండి, కొంచెం ఇది బిగ్గా ఉంది. సో ఈ మెథడ్ తీసుకుంటే మెథడ్ నేమ్ ఏముంది? రీడైరెక్ట్ ఎర్రర్ స్ట్రీమ్. సో రీడైరెక్ట్ అనేది ఒక వర్డు, ఎర్రర్ అనేది ఒక వర్డు, స్ట్రీమ్ అనేది ఒక వర్డు. సో మెథడ్ నేమింగ్ కన్వెన్షన్స్ అప్పుడు ఏం చెప్పాను? ఫస్ట్ వర్డ్ మస్ట్ బి స్మాల్ లెటర్స్, ఫ్రమ్ సెకండ్ వర్డ్ అండ్ వర్డ్స్ ఎవ్రీ వర్డ్ స్టార్ట్ విత్ క్యాపిటల్ లెటర్ అన్నాను. అంటే ఫస్ట్ వర్డ్ అంటే ఏది? రీడైరెక్ట్ అనేది ఫస్ట్ వర్డ్, అన్ని స్మాల్ లెటర్స్ ఉన్నాయి. సో సెకండ్ వర్డ్ అంటే ఏది? ఎర్రర్. సో సెకండ్ వర్డ్లో ఎక్కడ క్యాపిటల్ ఉండాలి? స్టార్టింగ్ విత్ క్యాపిటల్, రిమైనింగ్ స్మాల్ లెటర్స్. సో థర్డ్ వర్డ్ స్టార్టింగ్ విత్ క్యాపిటల్, రిమైనింగ్ స్మాల్ లెటర్స్. సో ఇది నేమింగ్ కన్వెన్షన్స్ ఫర్ మెథడ్స్. If you take any method, they will follow the same. So here redirect output, you have 2 methods, two words. Redirect is one word, output is one word. So first word small letters, second word starting with capital letter. Here start method is there, only one word, everything will be in small letters. So naming conventions for methods. So if you have any constants, you don't have any constants here, right? So if you want to see the constants, you can open byte class, short class, integer class. I clicked on byte class. So constant values means minimum value, minimum range, maximum range. You will see here. See here, max underscore value, min underscore value, size, type. There are 4 variables. All these 4 variables are constant variables. How do you say constant variables? All are in capital letters. Okay. So if you open this variable, so how do you know, how do you comes to know this is a constant variable? You don't have constant keyword. In place of constant keyword, you have final keyword. Okay. See here. So type final, size final. So all these are constant variables. So by seeing the name, you can say this is a constant variable. So why? Because all are in capital letters. If you want, you can use underscore for separating the words, right? So some other naming conventions are there. So those are in java.awt package. I told you right just now. So for add action listener, remove action listener. So those are in java.awt package. Open awt, right? So open any events class, awt events, right? Go to method summary. So field summary, all these are, see here, all these are constants, all are in capital letters. If you open any method, so with the cap letters, if you open this one, not these are methods, these are variables. So if you open this variable, so it will be constant only final, right? So go to method summary. Events like add, action, listener, setter methods are there. Action, listeners, AWT, events, add, action, listener. Which class it contains? Action event. Right, add, action performed. There is action performed. Some package java.time, java.awt, java.awt.event package, action listener. Yeah, you can see here action performed. Yeah, for adding the action listeners, you can use the add with some listener. For removing, use remove listener. So it might be somewhere action events, action listeners. So get action command. Somewhere it will be there. Mouse action listeners, at least I will open mouse events. So maybe get, right, all these are getters and setters only. Okay, suppose if you write a program, if you want to add as a listener, you can use the notation like add action add some listener. So if you want to remove it, you can use remove that method name, right? I will show you whenever we are executing the programs. So I didn't find, I forget where it was. So some classes it will be there. Okay, no problem. So these are the naming conventions. So if you have any doubt,